Have you ever wondered how you could mix a seemingly unrelated passion into your business and client experience? How would this set you apart in an overly saturated market? And would clients pay more for this type of experience? Hey everyone, my name is Sarah Lindsay, and if you are new to this channel, we talk about all things photography education and specifically how to make more money in business. Today, we're talking to Kayla Gray of Kayla Gray Creations, a talented photographer who brings a unique, mindful approach to her sessions and who will help us answer those questions and more. Kayla has been capturing incredibly authentic moments for the past couple of years and specializes in empowerment and grounding sessions, helping her clients feel confident and truly seen through her lens. In this video, we'll dive into the deeper side of photography, how mindfulness plays a role, the power of inspired action over forced action, and how a photo shoot can be transformative. Plus, we'll get to know Kayla's journey as a photographer and what fuels her creativity. So let's jump in. Please welcome Kayla Gray. Welcome, Kayla. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat.
Let's talk about how you started your photography journey. What inspired you to become a photographer in the first place, and how did you take the leap into making it into a business?
Great question. I have always had photography as a really big passion of mine since I was little, feeling my dad's little iPhone 3 and, doing photo shoots of like my sisters and my friends and just whatever I could get my hands on. And as time went on, I got my own camera as a gift one year, and it just really became one of my most favorite things to do. And I started out with nature landscapes, and then, I would still do photo shoots with my sister as we grew older, and she loves to model. So that is amazing still.
That's amazing.
Anytime I have an idea. Yeah. And then, one day, I had an Instagram where I would just post my work, but it was just for fun. It was never something that I planned on pursuing. And I honestly didn't even know that it was a fruitful career path that people pursued. But, one of my loose friends asked me to photograph her concert, like her band's show, in the dingy basement of a frat house. And I was like, I've never done that before, but yeah, sure. I just knew I had to. And so I went and bought a new camera for it because the one I had was just terrible in low light. And at the camera shop, the person that was helping me, who's now a good friend of mine, he invited me to shoot a show that night too. So he was like, do you want to come practice for free for tonight? And I was like, it's happening too fast. But eventually it just snowballed, and then I started doing seniors, like graduation portraits, and naturally that flowed into couples and weddings. And I had a mentor named Barbie that really taught me so much about photography and the business side of it and the technical side of it and everything along those lines. And I just realized how much I enjoyed it and how it was the only path for me. I could not bear the thought of working for someone else.
Right.
So, as a lot of us do. And yeah, I just kind of started looking into successful photographers that I found online, and it just like clicked that this was a possibility, and this was actually a really exciting possibility. So I just went head first and started a business.
I love that because I feel like so many people who want to start a photography business are so scared to do it. And fortunately slash unfortunately, there comes a point, right, where you just have to like go for it. You're just like, I'm just gonna try it. And if it works, great. And if I fail, I guess I fail and I'll try something else. But like how cool that you just like dove head first into that.
Right. I mean, it definitely took time to grow, and, I had other jobs at the time, and I wasn't just I was scared to dive right in, and I was like, I need to prove to myself that this is something I can actually do first. So, for a while I just did it on the side, and I would charge like $50 for a shoot or something. And then eventually I was like, yeah, this is all I want to do. I need to dive head first. And then I moved to Colorado and got my LLC, and here we are.
Kayla, you had mentioned that now at least you include mindfulness into your sessions. Walk us through how you do that, because to me that kind of seems like unrelated, but I think it's really cool actually how you incorporate it.
Definitely, it does seem unrelated, but I'm trying to bridge that gap. So Mindfulness to me is just having an awareness of whatever's going on inside of you, being in touch with your emotions, being in touch with your beliefs and your thoughts and how they impact your daily life. And mindfulness practices like journaling and meditation and intuitive movement like yoga and, pulling oracle cards are all things that have really helped me come home to myself and get to know myself and learn to love myself. And I just thought, how amazing would it be if I could include that in my sessions? Because getting your photos taken is so vulnerable and it can be really, really scary for a lot of people, including me. Whenever I have to do branding photos, I'm like, oh, no.
Okay, but right, like I feel like photographers, myself included, are like the worst in front of camera, even though like we know what to do. It's just
Yeah,
like as soon as you get in front of it, you're like you freeze and you're like, oh my God, like what do I do?
that's why we're behind it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I just figured if I can include these practices at the beginning of a session, how powerful could that be to allow my clients to really feel confident and feel radiant and feel in their power before the camera even comes out? And, it allows for us to get to know each other. It allows for us to just take some space and really ground into the session. And, we talk about whatever comes up, whatever's going on in their life, whatever is going on in my life that relates with that. And it's just an amazing container to look inside and see what's up.
So, Kayla, your empowerment and grounding sessions sound like really unique. So, what can a client expect from you from a session?
Good question. So when a client books an empowerment session, we'll first just either text or have a little phone call about what they're expecting, what their intentions are, and what they're hoping to get out of it. And then I'll send over a little questionnaire, which asks questions about maybe what they're struggling with, or something that they want to work on, or maybe something they're trying to manifest, or, anything along those lines, just to kind of give me an idea of where they're at and what they're looking for. And then it also asks for their favorite snack and their favorite music so I can make it fun. And yeah, and then we'll decide on a date and a location and we'll meet and I'll bring my oracle cards, we'll bring journals, we will have some music, maybe some yoga mats, ideally outside in the sunshine. So it's definitely more of like a summertime kind of thing, but I'm hoping to expand and maybe offer this in studios someday so I can do it all year round. And we'll just kind of ground together. We'll do a little meditation that I guide. And whatever we discuss and whatever content we talk about during the shoot is based on what they wrote in their questionnaire. So it's really just intending to serve them as much as possible. And I will have created some journaling prompts that we can do together, and then, open discussion and maybe some movement to kind of get into our bodies. We'll pull some oracle cards just to kind of give us a little guidance on maybe what to focus on that day or week or month or year, whatever kind of clarity we're looking for, and maybe do some journaling on the card that we pull, and then we'll get into the photo shoot. And I try really hard to make my shoots really, really fun. I love dancing. I love being weird. I love being silly. And it's just a really exciting experience. And I genuinely think they're really empowering, hence the name. And the clients that I've worked with on these shoots reflect back to me that they feel so lit up and so confident and so vibrant by the end of it. And that's really my entire goal.
I love that. I love that you can give such a unique, personal, and personalized experience to them. I feel like not a lot of photographers do that, and I feel like it's really lacking in the industry. So like that's super cool that you can do that. And like even like getting to know your clients on that kind of level is amazing.
Totally. Yeah, I end up with a new best friend every time. Like after we've connected that deeply, it's like, how can we just separate,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and going along those lines, I do think it is lacking in the industry, and that's kind of a scary thing for me because I'm like, I don't see this anywhere, but it's also an exciting thing for me because I'm like, I don't see this anywhere. And I do think sometimes, when you have a photo shoot as a client, just kind of showing up and maybe meeting the photographer for the first time, talking to them for the very first time, and then just jumping right into photos can be kind of uncomfortable. And I just want to do anything I can to make that transition smooth and make it feel like a fun experience that's not like full of fear and discomfort. So,
Yeah, and that's so true. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced this too, but I can't count the number of times where, a client shows up and they're like, I'm so nervous for this. And I feel like when you take the time to go through the grounding and the journaling and the oracle cards and the movement, it really settles them and it kind of takes away those nerves. You know, say like if you're photographing a couple and I mean, it's kind of stressful coming to a photo shoot, right? Like you have to pick out outfits, you have to get there on time, it's probably a Saturday, so it's crowded, all that stuff. And, who knows what kind of mood they're going to be in when they show up. And just to have that time to reset, reconnect, like really come at it with some intentionality is amazing.
definitely. And I do also offer this to couples because I think as important as it is to connect to yourself in that way, connecting to your partner in that way is extremely important too. And I think a lot of people don't really take the time to do so or don't know how. So that's kind of something that I really want to offer for couples, especially, couples that are newly engaged and entering this new chapter of their relationship, marriage, which is a huge step. And it just offers a safe container to discuss anything in the relationship that needs work or needs TLC, anything within yourself that might be impacting the relationship. And yeah, it's just such a connecting, beautiful experience. I just love it so much.
It's so amazing to hear. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so you had mentioned in the beginning that you kind of recently moved to Colorado and established your LLC. So I guess two parts, what prompted the move to Colorado? And then like what was like your biggest challenge transitioning from hobbyist to business owner?
Yeah. Well, I was inspired to move here because I had been in Vermont for about 5 or 6 years and I was just ready for a change. And my sisters live here, so I had some roots and I visited one of them and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to be here. Like, this is so magical. I feel so at home. Being so close to the mountains is unlike anything else. And, the scenery is so perfect for photo shoots. There's a lot more people here than there were where I was living. So it just felt like the right move. And as far as transitioning into business, yeah, it's hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. And, none of my friends or family own a business. So it's kind of just been a lot of figuring stuff out on my own and looking towards resources online and taking business courses and watching a lot of YouTube University, and, figuring out a lot of the back end businessy things that no one tells you about. That's been really challenging, but it's also been really empowering to, figure those things out and be like, I can do it. And it's actually working out. And also building a network has been challenging because, I have my sisters here, but that's pretty much it. And as a business owner, you need support and you need community in order to get your name out there. So yeah, just a lot of asking for things and asking if people are willing to support me and going to networking events and cold DMing people and just really anything I can to get myself out there.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, running a business is hard work. Starting a business is hard work. It's, I feel like there's a quote somewhere or some Instagram post that's like, people start a business because they think they're gonna work less and make more money, but in reality, like you're gonna work more. It'll
More.
just feel more fulfilling because you're doing it for yourself, not somebody
Right.
else.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best path I could have taken. No regrets at all. Even though it's so challenging. Like,
yeah.
I'm so grateful.
It's so rewarding, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Kayla, describe your photography style. Like, say, like a client wants to book you. Like, how would you describe your photography style? And like, what kind of emotions do you want to capture?
I would describe my style as whimsical, colorful, romantic, and candid, and filmy. You know, I really like to have fun with my edits, and I edit every shoot pretty differently. You know, I typically start with the same base preset, but I always change up the colors and do different cropping. And every session, every moment, and every day is so unique and so different. And that's really what I want to capture with my photos. So I like to just try and embrace whatever that moment felt like in its authenticity.
I love to hear that. That's like such a really cool take on editing that I've never heard before, but it's so
Mhm.
true, right? Like you said, every moment is unique, every moment is different. So like, and every couple is different or every client is different. So like why not edit for them, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's awesome. So, okay, so then for anybody looking to turn their business or turn their passion for photography into a career, what advice would you have for them? And especially when it comes to like mindset and motivation.
Okay. Well, first of all, I would definitely say shoot as much as you can. You know, ask anyone you think might be even slightly interested if they would want to do a photo shoot with you, and really try and figure out what you're passionate about and what kind of moments you like to capture and what kind of style you are drawn to. And work for free. That's really helpful, an amazing way to figure out all of those things without pressure. Also, I would say I've been really learning the power of asking for things and just reaching out to people and saying, do you need a second photographer, or do you need an assistant, or do you need someone to help you with things? And a lot of times people are very willing to help you or, give you some sort of support. And I had a client, or I cold DM'd someone and I said, this is when I first moved to Colorado, and I was like, "Hi, I just moved here and I found you on Instagram, and you and your partner look really cute. Would you like to do a photo shoot for free?" And she was like, "Actually, we're getting married. Do you want to shoot our wedding?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so that was the first wedding I booked here, literally just from DMing her,
Oh, that's
which I'm so
amazing.
grateful she's taking a chance on me in that way. But like,
Yeah.
that was a really magical moment. And in terms of mindfulness and self-love, I would just say really work on your relationship to yourself and just trusting yourself, knowing that you're capable of this, knowing that you are powerful enough to have this business and make money from it and make a lot of money from it and impact people in the way that you want to. Just truly, truly being there for yourself and supporting yourself and loving yourself in a way that you would a partner or a friend or a sibling. Your relationship with yourself is just as or arguably more important, to be fully trusting in yourself. And I think that's the most important thing for having a business, honestly.
I mean, that's so powerful because you're right. Like, and I feel like myself included, it's really hard to, be nice to myself sometimes, because we see like the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we're so hard on ourselves that coming at it from like that mindset of like, being like your best friend or being like your sibling, like what would they say to you? How would they support you? That can be really powerful, especially in business when, especially a solopreneur, right? When you're doing it by yourself and you have no help, you need that.
Right. And I mean, I'll say I am not very great at that all the time. It's a very human thing to
Yeah.
struggle and to feel incomplete or just feel like you're not doing enough. But, the more aware of that you are, and the more conscious you are of the way you talk to yourself, the more you can improve it and the stronger you become. So it's just really important to lay that groundwork with yourself and get to know yourself like deeply and fully as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more. Then, Kayla, tell us, what are your goals for your business in the next couple of years? Like, what projects are you working on?
Yeah, I would really love to offer more empowerment sessions to clients and couples specifically, and just kind of spread that work because I have seen how healing it can be in my own life and in the lives of past clients that I've worked with. So I just really want to share the love in that way. And I'd really love to grow my social medias as well. I think it's so much fun to connect with people on there. And social media is such a unique, interesting platform that we have in this day and age. And it can just be really fun to play on there. So follow me, send me love. I'll send love back to you guys. And a faraway goal is that I would really love to host retreats someday, that are all around mindfulness and incorporating practices like this to just become your best self and become aligned with your most highest self, and just really step into your power as much as you possibly can. So I'd love to help people start that journey and share these tools with them. I have my Instagram page, it's Kayla Gray Creations, and also my TikTok is Kayla Gray Creations. I do have a separate TikTok for my empowerment work, and it's called Reignite the Light Photo. So I also have YouTube. My YouTube is Kayla Gray Creations as well. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Awesome. I love to hear it. Well, Kayla, it has been such an insightful conversation, and I love how you bring mindfulness and empowerment into your work. It's such a refreshing perspective on photography, honestly. For anybody watching, if you're interested in booking a session with Kayla, I have linked all of her information below, her website, her socials, all the good stuff. Send her a DM. Like she said, she'll send back the love. So go check her out. And then while you're at it, I would really, really appreciate it if you took 5 seconds, gave us a like, maybe left a comment, gave us a subscribe if you want to. It really does help out the channel, and it allows me to make more content just like this, just for you. So let me know, what was your biggest takeaway and your biggest insight from Kayla's interview? I read each and every single one of your comments, and I would love to hear from you. But in the meantime, I'll see you in the next video.